Ready? My name's Charlie Young, and I'm a student. I'm 18 years old, and I'm currently taking a year out of academia to explore the world and not explore the world, explore East Africa and Central America, traveling by land and sea, to try and understand some of the issues of sustainability in terms of how they matter to the people who stand to lose the most. I'm currently working with the New Economics Foundation, and just so that you know, I'm in a little bit of pain because I burnt my face on Sunday with a bit of wax, and it's just superficial, so it'll go in a few weeks. But yeah, just so you know.
Okay,
is that okay?
Wonderful.
Do you want me to do it again?
No, it's fantastic.
Fantastic.
Just one.
Okay.
My first question is that I want to know your opinion. What the whole mankind can do to stop climate change?
Well, what the whole of mankind can do to stop climate change is a pretty big question. I think the most important thing is that we look at ourselves, because I think climate change is an issue. It's the greatest challenge that faces our generation, I believe. And unless we really look into ourselves and reevaluate our underlying values, who we are, what we believe in, what we need, and what we want for the future and the present, then I don't think we have any chance of solving climate change. It's a challenge that is without precedent. It will require global cooperation. It will require change of a level that we've never seen in the past. But I think it's also an incredible opportunity for us to just stop and think, where is it that we want society to go, rather than just letting it tear on in the way that it is at the moment for lots of people in lots of places of the world.
Do you have hope?
Do I have hope in terms of climate change? I have a lot of hope, and I think that what's fundamental is that we act on hope rather than acting on fear, and that we use love as something to drive us forward in our actions. Because if we're acting from guilt, then we're never really going to be living the lives that we want to be living. We're going to be trying not to live the lives that we don't want to live. And if we have a positive impetus, a positive look on things, whether or not we realistically think that these things are achievable, I mean, you need some level of pragmatism, of course, then you're never really going to go anywhere. I think the most important thing is to acknowledge that it's scientifically proven that optimism is a better way to get people to do things than by being incredibly negative all the time. So yeah, I do have hope.
Great. Can you tell us?
Can I say one more thing about that?
Yes,
actually?
You continue.
I think the reason that I've got hope mostly is because climate change has given me a new way to live my life, and it's meant that I can. It's part of my identity, it's part of my reality, it's part of my vision for my own future as well as the future of the world. And I really feel as though I've found a place where I'm needed most, and I'm also living a fulfilling life. And to find a place where those two things are the same thing is incredible. And that gives me so much hope, because to know that I'm able to live a life that means something to me and help others at the same time, I think it's really what being human and being a good person is about. And I think lots of people are already doing it, and to do it with climate change is something that I find really, it gives me a lot of hope.
A lot of sense. Can you tell us about your private action or personal action you take to stop
about
climate
Cancun?
change or to fight against climate change? For the last 3 years, I've been campaigning on climate change. I've been working with lots of different organisations, interning as much as possible, with the Age of Stupid, with 1010, with the UK Youth Climate Coalition. I'm now working at the New Economics Foundation. I also worked for the Welsh Assembly Government for a while as a climate change champion, and just doing lots of different things getting involved in as many projects as I could, and they're all over the place. I've been working with the British Council as well, and they took me to the World Economic Forum in Davos and to the Global Humanitarian Forum in Geneva with Kofi Annan. And so that's my spin on my way of trying to do something about climate change, is getting involved in youth projects at the moment. And I'm currently looking at ways that I can enter that world as an adult and reform my identity in those terms, which is quite difficult, but I'm trying. I think a concrete thing that I'm doing at the moment is
I went to Copenhagen and for the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. And I went with a group of people there from Wales mainly, but also from the United World Colleges. And we helped support, as young people, underrepresented delegations at the conference who weren't able to voice their own opinions, who weren't able to realise what it was that they wanted to do, because in terms of on the conference floor, because they didn't have enough people, they didn't have the resources, they couldn't go to all the meetings that they wanted to go to. And so what we were doing, we're taking notes, we were just doing practical things to aid them. And we were thanked by, it was quite amazing, we were invited to have dinner with the president of Kiribati, and we were also one of the most efficient delegations there that were youth. And I'm going to Cancun to the next United Nations Climate Change Conference, and the next annual one, and I'm planning on going there by oil tanker, and which will be exciting. And we're doing a similar thing where we're taking young people again and trying to link up what really is a surplus of energy and a really incredible motivation and inspiring movement of young people who are there at the conference, but who at the moment are, for lots of reasons and through very much little fault of their own, not being able to properly engage with the process. And so they're walking around picking up pamphlets, trying to bump into important people and have chats with them, because the UN can be so exclusive and so elitist that even delegations feel as though they can't be involved in the process. And so what we're trying to do is get young people to realise that there are places for them to be helpful, and those places tend to be, and what we've been finding is that there are delegations who need help, and delegations who are willing to accept the help of young people. And we're in the process of trying to join those two together, and it's quite difficult because there's a lack of trust on one side, and there's also a bit of skepticism, which is completely right. We are young people, and what right do we have to say we're going to help your government? And then there's also the problem that young people are quite hard to reach, and they're all across the world, and so we're working with that at the moment and trying to bring movements together. So that's something that I'm doing at the moment that's concrete.
For me, it's very interesting what you have done in your private life. Something like, okay, I only ride my bike, I only take cold water. What have you done for single agents? For
simple
because
things.
you have so much knowledge, you are working so hard with different people, with different organizations. Now, because we want to inspire people out there, that it is easy to start with one single action. What have you done?
A single thing that I've done that's been fundamental to all of this, and has been thinking about what I value. And by consciously thinking about what it is that I value, it's one simple thing that you can sit down and do with yourself, is I've realized that I value my family, I value my friends, I value those that I love, I value relationships, I value everybody's right to prosperity, I value nature. And out of those things, just everything else flows. And by reevaluating what it is that I think matters to me, it's one simple thing that I've done and has led to all these different actions.
The last question.
Would you like something more concrete and more physical, or was that too abstract, do you think?
You can do something else if you like. We can choose.
I mean, I'm happy with that. But if you'd like something more material,
okay. You have to.
Yeah.
The next question is about a person you want to take with you. So you have to convince someone to do something, some
concrete.
And the more easy it is for you to do it, the more easy it is, to give us back.
And you ask us if you can take your parents at first with you, and we say yes, that's a wonderful idea.
Cool.
Do you have any idea with which action, concrete action, you want to convince your parents to go with you?
Okay. Concrete action for my parents to do. Can I say get involved in their local community group? Can I say
yes,
that?
of course.
You can say it.
You can say
Okay,
everything.
cool,
It's up
great.
to you.
Okay.
It's your solution,
No, that's
not
fine.
ours.
Great. Can I re-say the last question? Just because
Yes,
I was thinking about it and not sure if it was okay,
Yes.
as I was saying. Okay. One simple thing that I've done that's really been the foundation for all the rest of what I'm doing is reevaluating what it is that I think matters to me. And I looked at myself and I said, what is it that I think is valuable? and it's relationships to me mainly. It's my family, it's my friends, it's those that I love. It's the fact that I believe that everybody has a right to prosperity. It's my love for nature and the natural environment and rivers and forests and all of that. And maybe that's not the same as you, but thinking about what it is that I really value and what I really care about has led to me wanting to do something about climate change, because that will have an effect on all of those things that I care about, as I'm sure it will have an effect on a lot of the things that you care about. And so reevaluating what it is that you care about is something that I think leads to a lot of these things that we want to happen, that we all want to happen. In terms of taking somebody on my journey, I'd like to take my parents to start with, because they're the people who have brought me up and who have made me, to a very large extent, who I am today. And they're interested in the same things as me to a large extent. And I'd like to acknowledge the work that they've already started doing in their transition town that they're working on. And I'd like to also encourage them on that road and encourage them to continue the work that they're doing, because everyone needs support, and without support we can't really do what we want to do and the things that are needed. So yeah, I think I'd start by doing that. Is that okay?